welcome to a special edition of Spotlight on San Jacinto Unified School District. We're here at the Riverside Raspberry Jam at Academy in Riverside, California to celebrate Raspberry Pi and the art of making. So what's going on today is the Raspberry Pi microcomputer has turned 6. So all over the world, Raspberry Jams are being hosted to celebrate Raspberry Pi's birthday. Here at Academy, we have a student showcase where students are showing their computing projects. We have workshops where people are participating to learn more about Raspberry Pi, and other demos going on throughout the facility where people can learn a little bit about coding, learn a little bit about the microcomputer, tour the facility and learn how they make things like plastics and welding and wood shop, and just enjoy a community event that's focused around computer science and a lot of the skills that are so desperately needed in our communities nowadays. So my role today was the facilitator of this event. I co-hosted with Ari Flewelling, she's from Riverside Unified School District, and the people here at Academy to set up this event. I got involved because I'm a Raspberry Pi certified educator, and I train other people to use Raspberry Pi, as well as helping students and teachers in my district use Raspberry Pi. So when I heard that Raspberry Pi was having a big worldwide birthday celebration, I talked with Ari from Riverside and we said we need to host an event. We need to get everybody involved because we know a lot of people in the community and wanted to bring them all together to really celebrate how much we love this device and what it means to students learning to code.
I am a Raspberry Pi certified educator. I went through the free summer program provided by the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and that's actually where I met Heidi, and we connected over our love of digital making and of all things Raspberry Pi, and we're like, you know what, we need to bring something to the Inland Empire. We need to bring something to our students and to our teachers, and when we found out about the Raspberry Pi Jam birthday weekend, we were like, that's the perfect opportunity for us to do something big. We were able to connect with Academy, the makerspace here in Riverside, and they were gracious enough to offer their facilities to us and some of their staff to help support us, and we were like, this is perfect. It's an opportunity not only to showcase the Raspberry Pi, but an opportunity to showcase this amazing resource in Riverside.
Raspberry Pi was founded in Cambridge in the United Kingdom. We are 6 years old, celebrating our birthday this weekend. We are first and foremost a foundation, so we create educational resources for educators and really trying to get kids into physical computing and making, not just with Raspberry Pi, but with any device. So this is a $35 computer. So you plug in your keyboard, monitor, mouse, and you have a full desktop environment. We have our operating system, Raspbian.
So the goal of today's event is to see how people are interested and to see, what people need in regards to digital making and maker spaces in Raspberry Pi. And the goal is to hopefully make this an annual event in partnership with the Raspberry Pi Foundation as well as Academy. So hopefully this won't be the last time you'll see us.
From our district today, we had students from Monte Vista Middle School, students from Mountain Heights Academy, and students from Mountain View High School. They came to enjoy the jam and share the projects that they work on in class, and they were able to participate in the workshops, work with one another and look at things that they were working on in class, but also they were able to share their projects with adults that came through Academy and explain what they're working on and show the coding and really get that practice at interacting with adults and the public and learning those public speaking skills.
This is our class, our computer class. Some of our students have come and are showcasing their Raspberry Pi computer programs. Some of them are showcasing like a moisture sensor for aquaponics and for plants. Others are doing pixel art, and some of them are doing music. They're coding music. They have been working really hard and are so excited to show you their projects.
Hi, I'm Haley Burke at Mountain View High School, and I have here is a moisture sensor hooked up with the Raspberry Pi and Python, and I have it hooked up to where it will tell whether or not plants need to be watered. It will say plants are safe, don't water, or please water now. On a larger scale, it would help save water and it'll help save energy. All right, another project that I was working on is with Sonic Pi, and what you do with Sonic Pi is you code with music, and how we learned to do it was playing with the numbers and figuring out what worked and what didn't work, and we messed with the live loops, we messed with the beats per minute, and figuring out what you want and what you don't want. So I'm going to play a sample of what I have created using Sonic Pi. After that little clip, it gets a bit staticky because I have so many loops going on and I need to work on it to get it to where it doesn't do that.
I'm Jonathan Macias from Mountain View High School, and I'm working on physical computing with Raspberry Pi, which is just a simple device which runs many computers with a Sensat, which can send messages through a LED light, sort of like if you were to go and see a billboard, and it'll have a sign on it and it'll keep looping around. Right here, what I have designed right here is just simple cross with orange as brown as the color and around it white. And to have this image come out, you have to code it very specifically.
My name's Charles and I'm in 7th grade, and in coding what I like to do is I like to do stuff that could benefit other people. Right now what I'm working on is I'm making a light system just to get me better at working with it, because it's kind of difficult until you get the hang of it. But I think one of my favorite things in the coding class is just anything doing with robotics and moving stuff.
My name is Isaiah. I'm a junior at Mountain View High School, and I basically made a quick reaction game. So when I push run, the light will turn on, and whoever pushes the button as fast as they can, they win the game. You have to do all the coding in here, and then you have to get the correct pins on here, because if you don't put them on right, it won't run. And it'll take some people a little bit of time, but you'll get used to it. And we have this to help guide us with all the pins and where the button should be.
It is hard in some cases, like figuring out where to code and what to do in different places, but that's the most challenging part. Other than that, it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's just learning the language.
This world keeps growing and growing, and it's technology, advancing. So if you don't get on now, then you're gonna be left behind. In other words, So it's a good start to, if you want to have a technology career, this is a perfect way to start it.
If they like technology and like games, and if they want to learn how to make stuff, this is probably the place, because it has everything. It has technology, coding, and you could make something your own.
We also have some students that are working on the photo booth. They coded in Python language how to create photos, and they are saving the photos and they're printing them out for people that are coming to the Vocademy Makerspace.
These people, they made using these computers, they put it inside, they made a 3D printed Game Boy case, and they made the buttons and everything, so it's like retro games like Frogger and Pac-Man, all that all on the self-made Game Boy, and that was pretty cool. I want to learn how to do that too.
My name's Christy, this is Brianna, we work at Vocademy. Right now we're displaying our Raspberry Pi kit. So pretty much it's a bunch of different classes, 3D printing and electronics along with the Raspberry Pi classes. We'll go through and teach you how to actually 3D print your own custom skins for it. We'll even go as far as doing the finishing process, so you'll learn how to sand it, you can paint it, apply XTC 3D, and then with the additional electronics and collaboration classes, we'll teach you how to actually program the Raspberry Pi so that it meets with the Retro Pi and actually does the gaming, and then you can pretty much program it to have whatever game they have available in the system. So it's pretty much we have this whole flyer right here, the whole classes, the kit's actually included in the cost of the classes as well. The collabs ones are really great though, because we'll have our instructors as well as the other members in here kind of helping out the students actually make the process. So it's a really cool process though. So and we teach a ton of different other things too, so it's not just the Raspberry Pi or the 3D printing. You can do welding, wood shop, electronics, we do laser cutting, which is really awesome, which will also help customize some things as well on here. 3D printing, it's really awesome.
It's everywhere nowadays, and it has to be the 3D printing, because you could really do very much with it. You could just expand your imagination and go wild, actually. And I haven't got much of it, but I would love to learn more about it.
My name is Bryce Ellis. I'm kind of presenting for CBU and showing how we use our Raspberry Pis at our print farm. We have 2 printers here. Both of them have the Pis on there. We can actually log into them without having to use an SD card or any kind of cable and operate them, send prints and everything, which is very handy for us. We actually use this tablet here for our lab, and are able to operate all of them that way. So right here we have some single part printing. Even though it's Saturday, these printers have to work. We go through about 160, 200 pounds of filament every semester. So this is one part we're doing for a project for one of the classes at CBU. This is the software we use to run the printers. We're able to load in whatever parts our students make, and then this allows us to kind of configure them and set them up for printing. And actually, the software ties in with the Raspberry Pi, and we can send parts to it directly through this software instead of having to log on to the network. So you have your regular 2D printer at home, your copy paper and everything. You're laying down just some ink. 3D printers, you're doing almost the identical thing, but you're moving up small steps each time and repeating over and over until you have a 3-dimensional part. This one, I was showing it off. I can actually move the printer around a few different ways over my laptop, not having any connection or anything. It also has its own Wi-Fi hotspot, so it's easy to connect to. Portable, this is the one we kind of take around the most.
Hello, my name is Gene Sherman, and I'm the founder of Vocademy, and today we're having this Raspberry Jam event here at Vocademy. We are a unique hybrid makerspace. What that means is during the week, Monday through Friday, we're kind of like a school. Companies send us the students to learn all these hands-on skills, and companies also send us employees to learn these same skills. And then the magic happens in the evenings and weekends because we open up these classes to everyone in the community. So anyone over the age of 14 can come and learn these amazing hands-on skills from us. And then the other magical part is, everyone we talked about, all these students who come for classes can become members. They can come back and use our equipment. And the idea is very simple. You'll never get good at using a piano if you only have access to the piano during lessons. Here, if you learn 3D printing from us, you can become a member and come back and use the 3D printer. And not just one class, a handful of classes so you get really, really good. And we like to say we make people more valuable to the world. We're going on 4.5 years. We're located in the city of Riverside, about a mile away from UC Riverside and the freeway interchange. We're open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if people want to come and check out what we do and check out our calendar, and we offer some amazing classes. This place was born out of my frustration with the education system. Over the past 2 decades, we've given up on hands-on skills classes. I'm a product of shop class. If I did not have shop class when I was in high school in the mid-'80s, I think I'd be a failure. I was no good at math, so had you sent me to college or university, I would have failed. Luckily, I had shop classes. I went to work in a machine shop. I learned a trade. By the time I was 21, I was making really good money, and I stayed in manufacturing my whole life. I've made anything from robots to wedding dresses to everything in between. And we think that today it is so badly needed. We have something called the skills gap in this country, where there are millions of jobs going unfilled because they have people with degrees and they have people with no skills. Well, our goal here is to create the people with those hands-on skills that are so desperately needed by our manufacturing companies. And let me tell you, we're still the second largest manufacturer of durable goods in this world, and they are desperate for people that don't necessarily have a college education, but they have some real tangible skills. And here, we give them those fundamental skills. How to use a screwdriver, how to use a Raspberry Pi, how to use a 3D printer. You put those together, you can make anything from rocket ships to blue jeans.
So the Raspberry Pi is a single board computer. It's about the size of a credit card. It costs about $35, and it can do a lot of different things. It's a full-blown computer that you can hook up all sorts of external electronics to, and you can control it through programming. And you can do a lot of different things with it. A lot of people use it for just gaming. Other people use it for controlling things in their house. Other people will hook up sensors to it and collect, environmental data and things like that. So it's really versatile, and it's a great learning tool as well. Matter of fact, that's why it was introduced. The person that invented it, Eben Upton, works at the University of Cambridge. He's a professor there, and he had college students getting enrolled into his computer science curriculum that really didn't know a lot about computers. They didn't have the hands-on. They knew how to use them, but they didn't really understand how they worked. So he wanted to come up with an inexpensive computer that he could put in the hands of younger kids, so that by the time they got to the university level, they'd be a little more adept at the hands-on skill aspects of it. So I think his original plan was to only put out like 10,000 of them, and hopefully he'd have a couple hundred students coming in university in about 5 or 10 years. And I think as of right now, they've sold over 10 million of these things. So it's really popular. Again, it's been adopted really well by a lot of the school districts and things like that as an educational tool, which is what it's intended for. But it's also been adopted by a lot of hobbyists as well because of its low cost and its versatility. So the uses of it are only limited by your imagination.
So today's event was open to the public and schools and teachers. The way it worked is you came in through the front doors of Academy, you went through the registration process where you had to sign a waiver to enter the facility. We had a Raspberry Pi photo booth where people could choose to take photos of themselves taken by a Raspberry Pi computer. From there was a coding room where participants could work on Chromebooks with software from code.org, where they were able to learn basic coding principles. Beyond that room, there was a robotics room, a 2-hour workshop that was run twice, where students or their parents or anyone participating in the activity built a robot that was controlled by a Raspberry Pi and then programmed that robot using Scratch software to make the robot move and do what they wanted it to do. Beyond that room was a workshop room where people were introduced to Raspberry Pi. They participated in a 1-hour workshop where they were able to learn how to make a light blink and learn the very basics of circuitry and engineering for a starting point of the Raspberry Pi. Beyond the workshop room was a room of vendors. We had colleges here represented that came to talk about computer science and engineering programs. And then additionally, we had another room devoted to a favorite Raspberry Pi component called the Sense Hat. And the Sense Hat has 64 LED lights on it that light up and do all sorts of different things. But that's a really popular room because people are able to go in there and point and click and make pictures and make those pictures show up in lights immediately. So a great activity from 3 years old and up can participate in that activity. So that's been a really popular one. Beyond that room was our showcase room. There's a collaboration room where everyone brought their projects that they could share and work on and just be together as a community of makers and community of Raspberry Pi enthusiasts. And that was across the collaboration room. And that's where you'll see a variety of different things happening with the Pi, everyone doing their own thing, from video gaming to 3D printing. Lots of different things going on in the collaboration room.
You can get people, like you might get a high school kid coming in here learning something on the Raspberry Pi, and you might have, working at the same table, a machinist that's been retired. He's been a machinist for 40 years. And then they two start talking to each other. The machinist goes, hey, can you make this metal thing I'm building move or do something? The kid's like, yeah, can you make this part for me? And it's like, yeah, so you get this really interesting collaboration going on that crosses genders, it crosses age brackets and everything else. So that's part of the magic that happens here too.
And then the other thing going on today is Vocademy offered tours of their facility. So Vocademy employees were able to take members of the public around to show them some of the amazing things that they built here. There's technology here and tools here that, frankly, I don't even know what they do. And it was really great to be able to tour around and see some of the creativity and the ingenuity going on here at Vocademy.
The turnout today has been absolutely positively fantastic. We've had young students, we've had community members, I mean, you name it, they've been here. All ages have been coming through and they've been learning about coding and the Raspberry Pi and even just taking tours of the space, which is absolutely fantastic because it's such an underused resource in our community and we're so glad to be able to partner with them.
Thank you for watching this edition of Spotlight on San Jacinto Unified School District. We hope you learned a little bit about Raspberry Pi, the art of making, and computer programming.